Good evening. My name is Wafa Abdelazim. I'm a fellow at Fact Center and a correspondent for ATAR magazine. ألف باء تاء amidst displacement, chaos, and upheaval. This presentation will give you a glimpse at the broad picture, a panorama, if you may, of the education in Sudan during the past year and a half of war. 7 million was the number of school-aged children out of school before the war erupted, according to UNICEF. The education sector was already struggling with unsuitable infrastructure and insufficient funding. Added to this are existing disparities across the states and between rural and urban geographies. These multidimensional challenges have become more complicated in recent years as the school year has been interrupted several times. And it got worse. In the morning of April the 15th, the war erupted. The immediate aftermath of it was halting all educational activities. The massive waves of displacement that followed uprooted so many children that by August 2023, an estimated 1.4 million school-aged children were forced to flee their homes. By October 2023, more than 10,000 schools were closed as a result of war. This is more than half of all schools in Sudan. More than 1,000 schools were utilized as emergency shelters for the displaced in states that were not fighting grounds, representing 8% of all schools in Sudan. As the fighting continued and spread to more and more places, further destruction of the educational infrastructure took place, with many schools in the hot fighting zones being looted, burned, vandalized, and destroyed, some turned into military bases, and others targeted by airstrikes. By last month, September 2024, an estimated more than 17 million children of school age were out of schools. Amongst this chaos, an entire generation's educational future was uncertain. Heroic efforts and hard decisions. Families fleeing the war scattered across a vast geography, both within Sudan and abroad. For many families, the question of their children's education was the reason to make the decision to leave. Abroad, many were struggling to survive on a daily basis and make ends meet in a new challenging environment. The question of education added a new financial burden to that equation. Even when money was a little freer, many children faced administrative barriers hindering their access to formal education. In Sudan, many were trying to find alternative education, from Quranic schools, Khalawi, to homeschooling, to homeless schooling, to private tutoring, to online learning for those with internet access. Back home, not only families but also the government was struggling to salvage the school year. In October 2023, the Ministry of Education issued an order to begin the school years in October, in what they describe as a safe state, and which meant at the time the 10 states that were still relatively under SAF's control. The particularities of how to carry out this decision were left to be decided by each state, based on its own circumstances and conditions. The states that reopened schools faced various challenges, varying from shelling by the RSF in Al Ubaid, for example, to extreme heat waves in northern and Red Sea states, to unavailability of school books and unpaid teachers, to schools being used as emergency shelters in Sinja and Sinnar. Even as the school year has been concluded in some states, there remains the question of the postponed secondary school exams. Even if a date was announced, it's not clear if or how the Ministry of Education can carry out such an immense logistical feat under the current situation in Sudan. Education, of course, does not end at secondary school. Higher education institutions in the country have suffered severely from the ongoing fighting. Numerous universities and colleges campuses were fighting grounds or fell within fighting zones, and with most buildings as most buildings in Khartoum, many campuses were looted and destroyed. Many universities have completely or partly lost access to their servers and thus to their students' and graduates' databases. Despite the damage, several universities, both public and private, are trying to continue tutoring. The attempts vary in their means and degrees of success, but in all cases, it's an uphill fight, just like all education in Sudan.